Okay.
Okay, and we're
All
live.
right. Okay. Oh my goodness. So,
Yeah.
oh my god. I this year, man.
It's
This
been a
year. I
year.
mean, really, we're 3 months in already.
Says the calendar.
That's the
Speaking of
calendar.
calendar, good morning, everyone. It is April
Ah.
1st, 2024, and that means that it is April Fool's Day. We know what that means in comics.
We're all a fool.
It's the same thing, Daphne.
Every day. It's
every
the same
day.
thing every day.
Every
Yeah,
day.
that's true. That's true. We're all fools here because we all think we can make money in indie comics.
Money? What is that? you guys make money?
Yeah, I know, right? That meme, right? Oh my
Jesus.
goodness. So much work to do.
Notifications are going to be delayed because Nita has been doing this for 4 years and still does not know how to make a StreamYard go off at the right time. So
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
People's coming in.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So
maybe they went out. I don't know. I don't even have my phone right now.
Everybody's in chocolate comas from yesterday. That's
you ready for this garbage?
Absolutely not. But hit it. Oh, my goodness. Good morning, Nita.
Good morning, Daphne.
Jesus. So today Jose had to wake up at 5:30 in the morning to get into work early. Oh. And I made the mistake of sleeping in. And I should have woken up with him because I think that now I've gotten to a point, if I don't wake up with him, it fucks up my day. More than if like sleeping in has no benefit for me right now. That it's like, you know what? It's like, no, I should have gotten up at the same time he did. And then it's like, I think I don't know, because I'm like a little disoriented from sleeping like the extra hour and a half. And it's like, shit. This is not working. When the body clock is already switching to his more normal work schedule, so I got to get back on that.
my circadian rhythm is all thrown off, just completely. Like I can't get up with C because that motherfucker has to get up at 3:30 in the morning. And I don't go to bed till 11, 12.
Right. Wow, that's way too early.
Good morning,
gentlemen. Good morning. Hello. Well, obviously these are the people who are in the chat right now. And yes, I see you, my beautiful eyeball people watching us from regions beyond. If you are joining us from Facebook, come on over to YouTube, join the sexy people in the chat. Keep Joseph and who is the other person? Anthony, keep them company. And we just didn't decide not to bother with LinkedIn today, and I don't think you've bothered with Twitter in a while. So.
I actually deleted the Twitter account. I got so obsessed with the fact that my numbers kept plummeting, and even though I was trying everything that they, know what, I'm not paying you fucking $8 a month, Elon.
Right?
Fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not, and so it was like, you know what, this is a waste of my time. So I decided to put my effort elsewhere.
Right? No, that's usually what's good. It's like see where your audience is growing, and then focus on that instead of like fighting a platform. Oh, hey, Nicholas. Oh, well, as long as we stay inside, we should be okay. Although usually the problem with April Fools is that it happens online, not really.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I guess might as well just get introductions all around. Hi everyone, my name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992, and you know what that means.
Just smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
And I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales, which returns to Kickstarter next Monday. Holy shit. Already we're on to the next campaign. Yes, so Tall Tales returns to Kickstarter with a brand new story arc, Tears of the Mother. It is a re-release of issues 1 through 5, plus the brand new issue 6 of this 8-issue limited series. So next Monday, I will be launching the campaign, so keep an eye out for that. Link is in the show notes for you to hit the notify me button so that you get notified when the campaign goes live. And I am also known for my medieval fantasy drama Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which, if you are waiting for sketch covers, if you ordered the sketch covers from the issue 8 campaign, they are slowly going out. I went to the post office to put the first batch of them in the mail, so you should be getting them soon. I'm looking to close out completely this campaign just in time for the Tall Tales campaign to launch. So, okay, here we go. It's the roller coaster. It's the Kickstarter roller coaster. So in the meantime, you can read both my comics online at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, and Tall Tales, that's TAILS online.com. And you can check out all my videos on how I make my comics here on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage, LAGER, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. And here to tell you more about it is Nita.
Yeah, Indie Comics Network. It's a channel on YouTube. It's got comics and stuff, and sometimes not even comic stuff.
Right. It depends on what everyone's feeling like at the time.
Yes.
Yeah. And where can everybody find it?
IndieComicsNetwork.com.
It's .com. Cut.
Hey Grant. So what? It's okay. Like I said, I'm just tired. Hey Shane. I'm just tired for waking up a little too later. What is it, like about an hour and a half later than I should have. Like I said, I should have woken up with Jose, and at least, by now I probably would have been less kind of disoriented. So how was your Easter, Nita? How did that go yesterday?
It was horrible.
Horrible.
Okay, so my mom's sick, so the family shit was canceled. Right. Kid woke up sick, and so it was just everybody was sick.
Oh no, that's not good. So
yeah, that was Easter. Lots of yuck.
Right. Well, good thing, like chocolates are available year round, so it's not like when my mother was growing up. She literally only ate chocolate on Easter. Like, chocolate was not available to her for the rest of the year because it just, So it's like, at least we get to have chocolate every day of the year instead of waiting until Easter.
Right.
Although you were more looking forward to a crawfish.
A crawfish boil.
Yeah. So I guess
it's our way.
Right.
It's the way of my peoples.
Right. The crawfish. Oh no. You hurt yourself in your own office.
Yes, because I have to jack myself up 5 feet off the ground to be on camera or stand like this.
Right.
It's like,
right. Oh yeah. That's
like
what
I'm
happens.
on 3 pillows, and so my knee is at my desk height because I'm short as fuck.
No. Yeah, no, I've actually, it's usually my hand that gets caught in the
I am not touching that with a 10-foot pole right now.
Oh, okay.
Perhaps later, but right now, no.
Yeah. All I can say is, absolutely, we're home starling. It's our job. Because of that dumb cartoon, I have been unable to speak English properly since.
Hey, Michaela.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, I mean, it's like, so my Easter, so we went out yesterday. At least it was nice because it's been like raining. It's like I'm kind of wondering if that's what's really aggravating my leg. Because so about a year or so ago, I had really hurt my leg, and I pulled my back, which affected my leg. And to this day, I still feel it. I mean, it's just what it is, right? And especially when the weather gets really shitty.
We'll touch that in a minute.
Yeah, sure. It's like I start feeling it in my leg. So I have been feeling it. It's like in like a lion. You know what they say about March? In like a lion, out like a lamb. And it's like, no, in like a lion, out like a lion. It's still a lion, So yesterday we went out and we went to see we went to see Kong X Godzilla.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I have to tell you, this movie, the entire Kong Godzilla franchise is the John Wick of kaiju movies.
Well, yeah.
Where it's like they took a premise and then just went so crazy go nuts with it that they understood the assignment. Let's just say that they understood the assignment. They've been understanding the assignment and they still understand the assignment.
Yes.
And not only that, but they lean in to the absolute absurdity of the concept. And that's what it is. Yeah,
yes,
they did. Look, I haven't recovered since they decided to make Kong King Conan. And those of you who do not understand that sentence, that's what I'm talking about this movie. Okay, you have to watch the first Kong Godzilla movie to understand that reference, and I have been recovering since. I mean, there's a scene in the new movie, the almost movie, in this where Kong, Jesus Christ, where Kong, I swear to God, I swear that they put the first riff, like the opening riff to the Conan theme in the soundtrack at one particular point. And it was just like, this is what happens. This is beyond a movie made by fans. This is a movie made by tried and true to the bone nerds. And as long as you go in understanding that, it's like, because I can't even say it's a bad movie. Because to tell you the truth, I really did enjoy a good chunk of it, and a lot of it actually has the best scenes have no dialogue. It's just the interactions between the monsters.
Nice.
And it's just like really, really, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. The scenes with the people are few and far in between. It's like sometimes they give you just enough people to justify the movie, but really they understand we're here to see the monster fighting.
There wasn't too much people-y.
Right, it wasn't too people-y. Yes, and so we had a really good, and I think that's a lesson that we should all take. Where especially with everything that's been going on, that like the one thing that really struck me, not necessarily from the movie, right, but the fact that I get to wake up every day, even if I am waking up an hour and a half late, and I get to do pretty much the nerdiest shit.
Yeah, it rocks, right?
I get to do that. I get to draw friggin' comic books for a living. Ish, the money is not exactly, the point.
Living is debatable.
Well, yes, the living part is
for money.
Yes,
for money.
But the fact that I'm able to do this, like. And I really do think, I mean, not to sound like hokey, right? Not to sound hokey. But what?
You already do.
Oh yeah, that's
true.
If
you say not to sound hokey, you've already blown it, man.
I'm going to sound super hokey, right?
Oh shit.
But I really do think a lot of people forget to have gratitude for what we do.
Right. Oh shit, yeah.
I mean, it's like, the fact that even on your worst day, you're waking up and working on comics. And it's like, and yeah, and I think that a lot of us have forgotten that we get too wrapped up in the brainworms,
the drama and the fighting and the bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I totally make money fucking talking about comic books.
Right? Yeah.
Holy shit! Yeah, that's a good life.
And it's like
bitching for.
Right? Exactly. It's like, what are you angry about? I mean, it's like we're seeing these guys losing their goddamn minds.
Ooh, right now, yeah.
And it's like, do you understand that you actually, like, you won the lottery just by waking up? That it's like, there are people who go to bed with every intention to start the next day, and they don't make it.
Right.
But you did. And you decided to use that time to be an asshole on the internet.
Holy shit.
And it's like, yeah, and I think that's what going outside helped me appreciate, even if it is the most ridiculous movie, absolutely the most ridiculous movie. Like, and I compare it to John Wick, because you had the first John Wick that started off with this, kind of like a very with a very simple premise that kind of just went like completely off the rails, right? And then as the next movie came out, it just went like, there were no rails anymore. It was like,
it's just like
all right. It just went like I swear to God, by the time we got to the last John Wick movie, if Blade showed up, I wouldn't have been surprised. I mean, that's just how insane. Like I mean, especially on that last one, John Wick, like at some point turned into some kind of like Dick Tracy episode. The scene when he's playing cards, with the hunter and the other guy, and then you have like this Dick Tracy villain. I mean, really, it's like, don't tell me that wasn't a deliberate decision.
Be like, how are you gonna cure the whole fucking world?
I mean, it was just like, yeah, Blade could have shown up, and it was just, no, especially in the second movie. That's when I was like going, when he has to look, if you consider these spoilers, like when John Wick has to assassinate the Italian, what is it? The Italian high chair. I forget, high chair, high seat, whatever the fuck, whatever the fuck they're called, right? And he's in her bathroom, which is like this cavernous thing with a giant swimming pool in it. And at that point, I was expecting Blade to come out. Like, all the Italian assassins were all vampires. It's like, it just like, that's how crazy it was, right? So it's the same thing with Kong, right? And it's like, these are people who were so thrilled to do what they're doing. I mean, that's and it's like, you know what? And I really like those movies where you can feel it. It doesn't matter. Oh yeah, you're saying movies are supposed to be fun, Well, these particular are. I mean, I appreciate all different types of movies, except for the ones that I don't enjoy. But but in the end, that is a matter of taste as to whether you enjoy a movie or you don't enjoy a movie. What is it? It's like, ironically, there was something that I read this morning when someone was talking about that they had read a bad book, and someone had said, there's no such thing as a bad book. You not enjoying a book doesn't mean that it's bad. I guess it goes back to the conversation we were having recently
right. I can
about objective
for
story,
right.
You know, objective storytelling, that there's like, you know, you know, I did not enjoy Watchmen. Right. But I cannot say with any certainty whatsoever it's a bad book, because me not enjoying something is not the same as something being bad. And like I said, and when it comes to creative endeavors, it's so subjective that it's like what's bad for me is like brilliant for somebody else. So you know, so it's like, so I'm trying to really get into the habit of, it's like, no, it's not bad, I just didn't enjoy it. Right. It's kind of like how we talk about, it's like, just because you don't make X amount of money on Kickstarter doesn't mean your book is bad. It just means you haven't found your audience yet. Right. It's like, we don't want to conflate, especially we don't want to conflate those two things, you know, the making money and quality, because talk about things that technically those have nothing to do with each other. So it all boils down to, you know, succeeding, because again, even the definition of success, yeah, even the definition of success changes. It's, again, that's subjective. It's like, don't conflate financial success with quality. It's two different things. That wasn't the point I wanted to make. I completely brain farted, but you know, that's what happens. So watching Kong X Godzilla, and you know, and it's like, you know what, these are people who had really had fun with what they were doing, even though, you know, it was their job, but they really had fun with, you know, it's like, right, because it's like, look, I enjoyed Dune as well, you know, you know, so I can, you know, so it's like, yeah, it's like, I know that that's not a movie for everybody. I mean, you know, there are people who are kind of confused as to what Dune is supposed to be about, but it's like, look, again, it's not for everybody, you know. And in the end, you know, that's something that we just have to, not everyone's going to like what you like, and you know, not everybody, you know, you're not going to like what everybody else likes, you know. Right. But yeah, but just the fact that it was just a whole reminder that it's like, oh, I get to do this. You know, I get to, you know, it's like, I get to wake up. I get to like spend, another day, you know, working on this and doing this. And because of that, I think that I that's why I really try not to get involved with any of this drama, because it's so meaningless in the grand scope of what I'm doing. Like 2 creators, 3 creators fighting over who has the better book. It's like, really? That's what you're arguing about? You know, I mean, I don't get it, but whatever. That's on you. I'm going to be busy doing my work. You know, it's like, look, I have a 15-issue series I have to finish, and I just started, and I have to continue penciling issue 12. You know, it's like, I have all these sketch covers I have to finish. I don't have time to get into whatever it is that these people are getting involved with. You know, now, you know, granted, some controversies are, Grant says, I used to put a lot of value in the projects we love thing, but honestly, I think the people at Kickstarter spends 30 seconds.
I'll tell you something I noticed with that.
What?
That I think that it used to have value. I honestly think it used to mean something, like it was reviewed and gone over and people thumbed through what they like. And then they started that Kickstarter with the comics group. Right. That go over the projects and whatever, and the elite 10 or whatever it is. And I think that now it's just a pick me thing. I know this guy. This is my friend.
Right. Well, I don't know. I was talking to Jose. I had brought that up yesterday to Jose, and he says, "Oh, I don't think that group even exists anymore."
No, they do.
They do. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they absolutely do. Right. I like this.
Right. Oh, I like when people don't like what I like, shorter lines. Oh, right. Dude, it's an excessively serious Trevor's knockoff. Oh my goodness. Look, I really had to give them props though. Speaking of knowing you're a nerd, is Villeneuve by casting Christopher Walken as the Emperor Shaddam the fourth. Is it Emperor Shaddam the fourth, right, of the known universe? It took me like the all of a split second to realize the connection, and I go, you fucking asshole.
Oh my God.
For those of you who don't understand the connection, go look up on YouTube the Fatboy Slim video, Weapon of Choice.
Oh my God.
And I go, you fucking asshole. So that's how you know something's made by nerds, you know. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's kind of, yeah, so I just thought that after, especially yesterday, and considering that this is the first, and spring is upon us, right, and we usually use this time as a moment of kind of like rebirth, kind of like this is where spring cleaning, like
Yes.
I'm you know,
Yes,
like I'm
it
going
has
like, oh
begun.
yeah, it has begun, you know, kind of like wiping the slate clean, you
Right.
know, finally like changing the linens, you know, it's like cleaning the house, getting rid of the old. Yeah, and it's like I really do think that there's a lack of gratitude for what we do. I mean, it's like I know that you know, but I repeat myself. But that, yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, it's because it's so many people. I mean, we do comics, for fuck's sake. Why is it so
Right.
complicated?
Well, because people make it complicated. Other people.
You know, right. You know, I mean, that's it's
But it doesn't have to be complicated for you because you can tune those people out.
Right.
You don't have to encourage them. You don't have to discourage them. You can just ignore them.
Right.
One thing I've learned is trolls starve easily.
Right.
And never to pay the attention horse price.
Right. Yeah.
So there's
that. There's definitely that. You know, yeah, it was just like, also it's like, because also, I mean, for what we do, there's also a lot of resentment that's floating around that I think that is like so unnecessary,
right,
as well. Like, okay, so there's always been this beef with people who do bad girl books and everybody else,
right.
You know, there's always this beef. You know, and look, not for nothing, I fell for that too. You know, it's because they're a very easy target. But so the other day I was watching a vlog, and that beef just happened to come up.
Of course.
And again, it's like you can really sense the bitterness bubbling to the top.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, I can't succeed because those books exist.
Right.
My book doesn't get any traction because those books exist. Right. So it's like, oh, because these
never mind that
books,
this audience is not going to be your audience. And
right. Yeah. Yeah. It's a very strange thing to, like, oh, it's like, well, I would be more successful if you didn't exist, if you weren't here.
Right.
Like how is that supposed to work? Because okay, Nicholas says, well, I suspect a lot of that happens when you put a fence between two dogs, they just bark at each other.
That's exactly
like
what
that
it
video.
is.
Yeah, where it turns out that the fence is only this long.
It's like
yeah. That they just know they're supposed to bark at each other almost, but they don't know why. Yeah. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, the podcast.
Words.
And they were talking, yeah. So it's like there's just a lot of bitterness. Oh, because this artist gets attention they don't deserve. They don't deserve. I should be getting that attention, right? It's like kind of like I remember on the last show, someone had mentioned like high school all over again, right? And it's kind of like I think that's what happens. Yeah, I think that's what happens when too many people think that high school is where they peaked. So every situation they're in, they can only see it through the lens of high school.
Right.
So it's like, you know. So everything that I need to unclean. Oh, well. Maybe get the sage out for that. I don't know.
Hi, Facebook user. Yeah. Identify yourself. You can do that in the show notes now. If you go to our show notes, there is an option that you are allowed to click that gives StreamYard permission to stream to Facebook.
Right.
Your name and shit.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, it makes everybody anonymous without permission.
Right, which is weird. You know, just Facebook being difficult. Yeah, just Facebook being difficult.
Facebook's always the problem.
So, what is it? Yeah, so okay, so are there certain books on Kickstarter that do better than others? Yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah, sure.
But at the same time, too, you know what also, it's like just to remind everybody, you know what books also do a lot better on Kickstarter, even better than those books? Books with audiences.
What? No, you don't say.
You know, I mean, it's like if you spend the time building your audience, you're going to have an easier time on platforms. Yeah, you know, I mean, you're going to have an easier time on platforms. And I think what happens is that people get too wrapped up with the type of book that's selling, which, by the way, we did the math on it. The top 200 most funded books on Kickstarter, only 18% of them are actually the TNA books or the Bad Girl books.
Yeah, not even TNA, because these are just sexy girls on the cover, not including this is with
40% of that 18% is Brian Pulido.
So,
you know, so you still have the rest of the, you know, because like that's like saying it's like, oh, if it wasn't for Neil Gaiman, I'd be able to sell my book. Well, because that's how ridiculous that sounds. You know, if it wasn't for Brian Pulido, I'd get attention on my books. Would you? You know, I mean, no, I don't think so. I don't think so, because that's not your audience. If you're trying to sell like some kind of YA comic on Kickstarter and you haven't built an audience for it, it's not Pulido who's your problem.
Right.
He has a completely different audience, right? It's not Neil Gaiman who's your problem. You know, it's like Neil Gaiman's audience is Neil Gaiman's audience. You know, look, one of the top 5 most funded books is a webtoons I've never heard of. You know, so it's like to say that, oh, if this particular creator didn't exist, you know, it's like, oh, or it's like, you know, this creator's is only getting attention, but it's like completely undeserved. I should be in their spot. You know, it's kind of like, in the end, I don't know what even to say.
Because it doesn't make sense. It's illogical. It's irrational.
Right.
It's looking to point blame instead of looking inward to see what you could be doing different or should be doing
you see,
different.
and I think that's what it is too. It's like that's why I like to talk about behavior, not who's doing the behavior.
Right. No, because that's what they want.
Right. Because I feel that names help. It doesn't help. I say that by using names, it's a distraction to the behavior
from the problem.
Because like I'm talking about behavioral issues that in some way or another we all manifest at certain points, depending on our moods. You know, I've had it. You know, look, I have my asshole moments too. It's just that I try really, really hard not to let it manifest online.
Right.
You know. And and it's like and by saying certain people's names, it's like people go, well, I'm not them. I'm not them. I'm not.
And
Yeah.
so they
think that's
exactly okay.
Right. Exactly. It's like, yeah, it's all about like somebody else is the problem. And it's like, well, if somebody else is the problem,
well, it can't be me because my mom says I'm perfect.
I mean, but if someone else, if you're having an issue, but you feel that that the problem is outside of you, how do you begin to fix that? It's like if you imply or just outright say, because Brian Pulido,
I'm gonna go throw a match on all the titty books,
right? It's like that. Oh, it's because of Brian Pulido that I can't get traction. Oh, blaming everyone else.
Same.
Oh no. I mean, what do you do with that information? Yeah, I know. I don't know. I kind of think I do that every time I'm on the show. That it's like, look, it's just me as a hot mess. I know I do not have my shit together. I only look like I have my shit together. Like, what do you do with that information if it's somebody else's fault? Like, how do you even begin to rectify that? How do you gain control over that issue if it's somebody else's fault? This person exists. This person is selling.
You don't. What you gonna do? Go. I guess you go to the convention and punch them in the mouth. I mean,
right? Yeah, which we all know nobody does.
Nope, nobody does.
Nobody does that.
And when you try to, they hide from you, even if they're 6.5 feet tall, grown.
Well, yeah. Also, it's assault, and really, you're gonna go to jail over comics. I mean,
why not?
Yeah, again, right? I guess. I don't know. There seems to be.
William said he's done it. I did, and the dude fucking left. He left, and I'm like, under 5 feet tall. He left.
Yeah. So. So the thing is, it's like, and I think that it's very easy for us to get wrapped up in that behavior. Like I said, I've done it too. Oh, if it wasn't for them, why are they getting all the attention? It's like, look, they built an audience for it.
Right.
No power means no responsibility. Right. And you got to remember, the only thing that you have control over is what you do.
Right.
Anything outside of that is outside of your control. So why get wrapped up in it? It's like, okay, Brian Pulido, he's been doing this for 30 years. He's way ahead of you. I mean, there, even the people who are doing it for less time, they obviously have an audience for their books that they've built.
Right.
That is kind of not your problem. Your problem is building an audience for what you have.
Right.
For
many people are putting off, like trying to put it somewhere else. Like it's not, it's my shit's great, and you're just not seeing it because you're blinded by this cover or this cover or this cover. And it's like, no, dude, that's not it.
Right. Yeah. It's like, you just don't have that audience yet.
And yet. That's right. That's the key word. We're not trying to kill your dreams. Oh, you're never going to be as big as, because anybody could be.
Right. Well, you see, you know me. I like to temper those expectations.
Right.
Absolutely. We knew Brian Pulido back in the day when he lost Lady.
Hell, when we was little kids reading Wizard.
Right, exactly. I mean, yeah, we've seen Brian Pulido rebuild from the ground up.
Right.
We were at conventions with him. It's like, like these basement, these hotel basement conventions. It's like
back when it was all hookers and blow.
Well, hey, the Clinton years. But it's like,
I'm gonna check out my car.
But I don't know. It's just that I guess, like, yesterday gave me a lot of opportunity to just reinforce that it's like, what we're doing, making comics, is a privilege. You know, when could we afford hookers and blow? I know. At what point?
Hey, look.
You know,
banging.
Well, the early 90s were they were a very optimistic decade.
When we could wear the Hooters shirts to the conventions.
Right. Yeah. You know, it's like, yeah. I don't know. I guess yeah, quit wasting mojo on issues with others and improve yourself. Yeah, you see
but they won't. They won't. They have to have these Twitter battles, and it's like I just left. I'm just like I'm done. I'm so over Twitter.
Just sad about it. Does it really make me sad about it? I don't know. I mean, it just
doesn't make me sad. It's just like, what the fuck?
It makes me contemplative about it, because in the end, sometimes some people are just no, same here. I just have to you know, some people exist just to serve as a warning to others.
Right.
Sometimes that's their purpose. Right. You know, to just exist so that you can look at them and go, oh yeah, let me not be like that. You know, because it's like, because if you really break it down, right, a lot of this behavior can be boiled down to insecurity. Yes, it did. It could boil down to insecurity. Yeah. William says, to be honest with you, if you're too damn caught up with whatever everyone else is really doing, then you're not working hard enough on your own stuff. Absolutely. You're being distracted. You're being distracted.
They're just like fucking dogs on opposite sides of the fence at each other.
Yeah. You know, it's like there comes a point where it's like, okay, let's not be like them and let's go back to work. Right. You know, it's just yeah, that's like that okay, so here's where kind of the sympathy comes in, where it's like, you know, that a lot of this is deeply rooted in insecurity, and it's a lot easier to lash out than it is to try to improve your lot. No, absolutely. Looking at other Kickstarters is always good. I mean, it's like, look, I'm still studying other people's Kickstarters. There is no, it's like,
for a minute I was, but then it started making me angry. It's like I'm watching three guys that I used to have respect for just fucking cut each other's dicks off on Twitter, and it's like, you know what,
it's like, you know, this was unnecessary, right?
This is unnecessary bullshit.
So, because like, imagine it, right? Like, imagine you have you know, imagine, I don't know, it's like, I've mentioned it before, that I think that what keeps me kind of sane, although the fact that, hold on, let me try to rephrase this. Like, imagine having like a 30, 40, 50,000, like you have a campaign that made $60,000.
Right. After, yeah. What do you do?
And then all of a sudden, you just see the numbers go down. I mean, we've seen creators lose 90% of their audience. Like, imagine losing 90% of your audience from when you started at this high. Right. You built up to this high, and then all of a sudden, now you're like, you know, your trajectory is that way, right? Now, it could, I mean, logically, you could say that, well, you know, maybe that was an artificial high.
Right.
And I'm now going down to my plateau. Like, I'm going down to where I should be. Right.
Right.
But the thing is, though, like, making $12,000 when you had a campaign that made 60, it really is a kick in the dick. And I can really understand, like, the absolute psychosis that would cause.
Yeah, I guess so. Because that's what it is. It's a panic scramble. These guys that aren't doing as well as they once were.
Right.
They feel like they're on this downward slide, like back into this bottomless pit.
Right.
But really and truly, like we've all seen it. Everybody noticed a difference in the economy. Like, I mean, yes, there are a few standout exceptions.
Right.
But we don't have the fucking free money to throw at entertainment that we once did. We're not being given fucking government checks to that. There's just like free fucking money to just buy Kickstarters and back every goddamn one of our friends.
That's France.
No, that's France. And man, we should so do that here, man.
Let's see. Don't get me wrong. It's frustrating seeing shit on Kickstarter get crazy money numbers, and you've heard the creator tell you it's a shit book. That sucks when you yourself are quality work, but you just have to ignore it and roll on. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's like, because it does make you kind of like going, and it's like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And that's where I think gratitude. I'm going back.
Here's some gratitude,
considering the fact that I didn't have a noticeable drop in my last Kickstarters being a giant win. No, absolutely. That's how I felt on my last campaign on Eagle Raven 8, because that was my first campaign after Medieval Unicorn Viking Slut, which was like I had the most backers on that campaign, 233 backers. And I was like going, is that campaign going to make a difference on my future campaigns? The answer is no, but I remained average. So, I had to take that as a win, that no matter what, I have an average amount of people who are going to support my book regardless.
Especially when we're seeing a lot with steep drops. I mean,
exactly.
Drops. Yeah. No wonder they're scrambling.
Right. So it's like, and it's like, when you see, and it's like, you kind of get like, oh, is my story good enough? Is my artwork good enough? And you kind of get wrapped up in that. And it's like, yeah, I can understand. Oh no. I mean, it's niche, and that's and we have to. Melissa says, I'm already panicking about my upcoming campaign. It's my more popular series, but it has less pre-launch followers than my previous launch. It's not a great indicator, but makes me nervous. No,
I'll tell you something. I've noticed that not as many people tend to be signing up for pre-launch as they used to.
Right.
But the campaigns that I'm working on are running about the same.
Right.
So
I mean, because I'm
don't
nervous.
Panic.
Because look, I'm in the same boat. I'm nervous about this Tall Tales campaign.
Yeah, a lot of people have opted out of pre-launch.
Right. I mean, I use the pre-launch to try to collect new emails, because I do it through BackerKit. I do the pre-launch through BackerKit.
Right, to grow the mailing list.
Yes, I use that to grow the mailing list, but like, the difference this time around with the Tall Tales campaign has me a little nervous. I have to agree with Melissa. It's like, because I'm seeing the same thing. Like, these signups are not exactly there. And, but the thing is, though, it's like, I don't know what else to do at this point, except I was like, well, we're launching next week. However it goes, it's going to go. I mean, Tall Tales has like a lower average than Eagle Raven, but as long as it stays at its average, I think I'll be mentally okay with it. Like, I'm not expecting this book to do gangbusters. I mean, I never did, but it does kind of sting knowing that, having the expectation, judging from previous patterns, that it's like, oh, this campaign is going. Yeah, imagine us as people like us still do this because we love it. We would find a way, Kickstarter or not. True.
Right.
True. I mean, Kickstarter really did help. Something I'm going to take into my next campaign is realize that you can't just will a project into being huge. Look, I tried to manufacture it and couldn't do it. At some point, you have to say people will either back or not. It's out of my hands. It's true. It's true. I mean, so that's kind of.
But a lot of people will take that and be like, "Oh, well, that just means give up at this point." No, never stop.
Right.
Never
give up. Never
surrender.
But yeah, so it's like that's in the end, that's how I could think about my next campaign, about the Tall Tales campaign.
Right.
I don't know, maybe it is a good thing that I don't have to worry as much about my Eagle Raven campaigns as I do Tall Tales, because then it's like I can put a little bit more thought into the Tall Tales campaigns and what I can do. But at the same time, there's only so much you can do. Yeah, there comes a point where no matter what you do, the results are going to be the same.
Right.
And we just have to take it. Yeah, we just have to roll with it, you know? Yeah, it's out of our control. We can only do so much, and it's out of our control. You know, I mean, it's like, because, you know, and also it's just kind of like, I find it almost amusing that I can sell 2 fantasy books. I can sell 2 fantasy titles. Right. And they both have wildly different responses.
Right.
They get like, it just goes to show you how just because you're selling, like you're a creator selling 2 different books, or you have like multiple titles under your belt, it doesn't mean that your audience is going to be the same for all of your books. Because that was also a mistake that I've seen some other indie guys make, where it's like they're doing like 3, 4, 5 different IPs, and they're making those IPs thinking that their audience is going to transfer over, where what they're really doing is making life difficult for themselves, because they're not realizing for every IP you create, you have to create a brand new audience for it.
Right. It's going to be
so every time you make a new IP, you're starting from zero. And and it's like, oh, I'm way beyond starting from zero. I don't want to start from zero. But I don't know. I mean, I guess my real point today was just like, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? And realize that any day above ground is a good day.
Huh.
Way too many. It's like, because, well, what is it? What was also another Stoic saying? It's not that life is short, is that we waste so much of it. And are you wasting your life, the minutes of your life, on some nonsense on Twitter that has nothing to do with you? Are you wasting your life looking at counting other people's money, counting other people's money, and then getting mad that it's not your money?
Right.
You know, are you wasting? I mean,
you are, because if you're doing that, you're absolutely wasting time that you could potentially be making your own money, but instead you're having Twitter beef.
Right. Yeah. You know, it's like, how many books are you are you on Twitter? That's a red flag already. Like, are you on? Yeah. It's like, because it's like, what was the thing that we said the other day? Do better than the person doing nothing. At least do
better than somebody that's doing nothing.
You know, every time you finish an issue, that's a win. You know, on so many different levels. It's like,
that's not just a Black comic community thing. That's all around.
Right. Oh, that's you know, that's we see variations of it. There's variations.
Make that print, make that T-shirt. We're gonna buy it. We're gonna do it. Not even
that's actually like a running gag. That it's like, never ask your audience, do you want this as a print? Because they'll always say yes. And then when you actually make it, they never buy it. But also, never say that online either. Like, if you see something that says, oh yeah, I'd buy that as a shirt, because there's these weird bots that are going around, that have been going around for a while, where if anybody writes under an image, I want that as a shirt, or I want that as a print, the bots scrape that image off of your post to put it on those bootleg t-shirt sites.
Yep.
So you don't, so don't have anybody, don't post something and have, and encourage people to say, would you buy this? Because the bots are listening. Yes. The bots are listening. The bootleg bots are listening.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It's, every issue you finish, every page you get done, every book, every Kickstarter that you run, that's you being ahead of the people who are too busy fighting on Twitter to do the important work.
Right.
It's like every day you get to do this you should be grateful that you won that lottery that morning.
I get to do this. Comic books.
I get to make comic books. I have an outlet to sell my comic books. I get the opportunity to build an audience for this.
Right.
I know that that's not everyone's favorite thing to do, but
but it's part of it. Right. It's a part of it.
It's like, because you can't be the only nerd enjoying this.
Right.
All these nerds got together.
You get to go out and find others just like you.
Right. All these nerds got together to create the absolute absurdity that is Kong x Godzilla. What is it? The New Empire or something? I forgot what it was called. And it was a beautiful thing, right?
Right.
And I think and we need to remember we're building something beautiful here. We get to do this. It's like we're not somebody who they have to make literal mouse traps for a living.
Huh.
It's like we're not making ping pong balls. It's like we're actually making something that is so unique to us that we're the only person who could make it. And we have to appreciate that you're putting a story out in the world that only you could do.
Right.
Only you could make it. And it doesn't matter if there's 50. Yeah, yes, HR. Yes, super nerd. There's 50 werewolf books out there.
Right.
Or there's 100 bad girl books out there.
Right.
The that you're doing is unique to you.
Right.
And you are not the only one who likes that stuff. You got to think of your audience as, there's so many bad girl books, or there's so many werewolf books, or there's so many cowboy books, right? It's like, how can I compete? Meanwhile, your audience is like going, more cake, more werewolf books, more cowboy books, more bad girl books. It's like, those are the books I like, more Godzilla movies, I mean, it's like, that's how your audience is going to see it, that you're one of a bunch of books that they enjoy. Even if thematically it's the same thing, your vision is different enough that they could read 100 books in a row of the same thing, and it's like, oh yeah, they're going to remember the differences that made your book stand out.
Right.
And we have to, I think that's something worth celebrating. I think that we have to remember that why are you going to waste your time being resentful and angry? And when you get to do this,
right? And just tearing someone down really builds you up.
No, and that's also exactly, because
it works.
Right, because it's like what's even the point of that? It's like, okay, we can see you standing on someone else's back. Stop trying to pretend you're Shaq.
Yeah.
it's like we can see you standing on someone else, but and that's not a good look. that really is.
It's
That
really
really
not.
isn't. So gratitude, Nita. I think that's kind of the theme that I'm going for today. Gratitude.
I can dig it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, look, people say that, oh, it's so negative out there. It's so negative out there. And it's like, okay, no, that's true. Sure. What are you doing about it? What energy are you putting out to combat that? I mean, are we going to stop the fools from arguing? No. But we can create a space where other people will gravitate towards, because you're not that.
Right.
You're not screaming for, I don't know, whatever you feel you need to do. It's like, look, we sell comics. Do we want attention on our books? Yes. But I would rather have the attention on my work come from a place of gratitude than desperation. I want people to look at my work, look at my books, to look at my upcoming campaign, to look, it's like, it's like, like yesterday, well, not yesterday, the day before yesterday, right?
I have one of those.
I forgot to put him on the campaign. So I was listing the toys up there. So yeah, so on the Tall Tales campaign, when it launches on Monday, I'm going to have my vinyl toys up there for everyone, to anyone who has missed it on the
blood splatter one's the best.
And it comes in 6 colorways, right? And and I have such a love-hate relationship with this thing, because we had it manufactured at a time where the market for vinyl toys was really, really hot. But then by the time we got the toys, that market had collapsed. So I joke, it's not really a joke, we have a basement full of monkeys, right? And we're slowly selling them off, right? But
good night, Shane.
Good night, Shane. The thing is, though, is like, how many people get to see something like how many people are able to get like something like this made? I mean, I'm sure like nowadays it's a lot easier, especially with the advent of 3D printing technology. No, I agree. So it's like, on one hand, it's like, I don't like the fact that I have a basement full of these, but on the other hand, it's like, he's really cool. I have to admit,
he's very cool.
Very cool. He's very cool. He's kind of pseudo posable, because it's really just the joints, because that's where everything connects. And I'm just able to just pose him, sort of, kinda, so yeah, so it's like, I don't know, it's like, so it's very it's very easy for me to say, it's like, oh, if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't have done these. But like right now, like, what's the point of even saying that? Because I have him now. I have a basement full of these right now. And, and he is very, very cool. He's made of vinyl. He's about 8.5 inches tall. Like I said, he's semi-posable, and he comes in 6 different colorways, and he's going to be,
and that's not man 8.5. That's really 8.5.
Oh, it's actually 8.5. Nita's collection of vinyl is a little different from mine.
Silicone.
It's silicone, that's true. Because in the end, it was a lot of fun. I remember when we were making these, and it was a lot of fun getting the sculpts back and seeing the sculptor bring this to life. And then when, maybe when we finally got them, it was a little hairy in the house, but once we got everything put away, but it's like what's the point of saying that? It's like, oh yeah, if I had to do this over again, I wouldn't do it, yada yada. But it's like, well, I have him now. I have him now, and I really think he's cool, and I hope that that people enjoy him on the campaign as well, and pick up a toy or two as well. But my point being, I guess but my point is that I want you to be as happy with my work as I am with my work. And I want people to look at my campaigns, to look at my comics and go, it's like, oh yeah, it's like, she's a very positive person and she really enjoys what she does. She really enjoys what she does. And, maybe this will be, maybe let me pick up a book because it's like, I don't know, maybe something I might enjoy because, she's very enthusiastic about it or something. I don't know. I mean, it's like, look, if you're not into fantasy, you're not into fantasy. I mean, that's just what it boils down to. Right. But I'd certainly.
But if you are, have we got a story for you?
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. If you like action, adventure, political intrigue, magic, sword and sorcery, the whole thing, climbing, running, skipping, jumping, climbing Mount Doom, then maybe Tall Tales is something you'd want to check out. Like I said, link is in the show notes. Link is in the show notes. And this is and it's an 8-issue limited series. I'm going to be finishing the last 2 issues this year so we can put them out next year to finish the series. So it doesn't have that much left to go.
Right.
But yeah, I would rather people look at my book and see my name and not think about drama, not think about, oh, the bitter, it's like, oh, you're very bitter, or it's like, I don't want people to see my name and go, I don't want that.
Right.
I don't want that.
Bitch.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah. So I am very fortunate to be able to have done this for as long as I have, and I get to do it again, and I keep doing it. And I just want to impart that on everybody else too. It's like, yeah, just be a nerd. Just be a goddamn nerd about what you're doing, about the comics you're doing. Because you know what? It's like, yeah, I came out of that theater going, man, that was some good shit. So yeah, yeah. That's how I want people to look at my, to everything that I do creatively. That was some good shit. And honestly, and the next time, and when Mothra tells you to get into the portal, you jump into the portal. That too. That was, I think that had to have been my favorite scene. Get the fuck into the portal. Stop fighting. Get the fuck into the portal. Don't make me come back there. Right? Oh my goodness. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now, Nita. That's where I'm at. How about you?
I feel like you whooped my ass today, Daphne.
Did I?
Yeah, and I liked it.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I gave you a little pow in the back.
Just a little bit. Yeah, because I catch myself even not during the creative process, but in the marketing process, getting all moody and caught up in the other people's bullshit and just like, fuck these guys, fuck these girls.
Yeah.
I get to fucking wake up, read and edit fucking comic books.
Yeah. You're not working at Walmart. I'm not.
I get to be home with my kids.
anybody who works at Walmart, but in our context, we're not. Yeah, go ahead.
It's a play to read comic. I get paid to read comics, dude.
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, you get
I get paid to hang out with fucking other nerds. I get to
Yeah.
stay home with my children and contribute to my household doing something that I fucking love.
Right.
Yeah, it's fucking great. And I need to have gratitude for that instead of being a mopey little bitch like, fuck these motherfuckers.
Right.
Really, fuck these motherfuckers. Let me do my thing.
Right. You know, it's like, yeah, it's like you get to stay home, you get to be with your kids, you know. Motherfuckers gonna, well, yeah, sure. So, I could no more stop being an unapologetic nerd than stop breathing. Absolutely,
Nicholas.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we have to remember that. We have to remember that. Find your joy, because finding that place of resentment and hate and jealousy is too easy.
Right.
It's too easy, and we live in a society that encourages it. Right. And I'm saying, don't add to it. It's like, you know what, if you're complaining that, oh, we live in a negative society, what are you doing? Like that, what are you doing to combat that? You know, what energy are you putting out in the world? And look, like I said, some people are just exist to serve as a warning to others.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. I mean, I think that, you know, yeah, the fact that you get to stay home and not have to like work at Walmart. I don't have to go out and work at FedEx if I don't.
It's a good thing too, because that one time I did get myself fired because I will punch people in the mouth.
Well, yeah.
There's that.
Right. And it's like, yeah, and it's like, look, and then look, not to say that that if you have a job that's somehow lesser. Now
no, I just need to be more grateful because I'm allowed to do something that I fucking love.
Because even if you do, I don't know, work at Chipotle or something, you just work outside the house, right?
Right.
The fact that you get to go home and work on comics.
Right.
I know that was a huge motivator for me when I was working in an office. That was a huge motivator. I would actually keep a small stack of my comics on my desk to remind me why I was working there. I get to go home and do
Homer Simpson, do it for her.
For her. Yes, exactly. That's exactly. Do it for her. You know, I get to go home. Even when I was working, it was always, I get to go home and work on comics. I get to draw. Most people, they barely make it home enough to just watch a little TV and go to bed.
Right.
You know, I mean, depending on the schedule, I would wake up at 5 a.m. to work on comics before I went to work. You know,
that's I mean 3 a.m. at the drawing table.
Right, exactly. So it's like, so even if you do have a job, you know, it's like, yeah, it's like you still get to draw comics. You still get to draw comics. Most people don't have hobbies. Period. They don't have hobbies. They're all about consuming until they're glassy-eyed and ready to go to bed. You get to come home and bring something out to create. Yeah, and I just think that we just all needed to remember that, because I know I did. I needed to remember that. And it took Kong, watching Kong and Godzilla to do that.
Whatever it takes.
Kong and Godzilla was a lot more of a it was like a motivational movie than I had expected. But you know what? That's how it works, right? The muses work in strange ways. The muses work in very strange ways. But yesterday, I hope everybody had a very good Easter too. I don't want to make it sound like as if I didn't remember what yesterday was. No, it's like, so I hope you all had a really great Easter. And also, I think too, that's kind of the lesson of Easter as well. Gratitude.
Oh, okay. I was like, Godzilla is risen.
Oh, well. I think I think it's kind of time to go. I think so. Are you good? Are you
I'm
good?
good. I am so good. I'm so good. I like it when you spank me and smack me around a little bit.
A little pow never hurt anybody. Oh my goodness. So I want to thank everybody in the chat for joining me today. I hope that this resonated with you all, because I think we need it. Sometimes we just need to remember. And I think it was just appropriate, that that it had, that this had to come the weekend that it did.
Right.
So, you know what? I think moving forward, I think we just need to remember, just to remember our purpose and why we do this. I want to thank all the beautiful eyeball people who hung out as long as you did. Thank you so much for putting up with all the extra content.
And you guys on the replay too.
Yes, and thank you so much to everybody who are joining us on the replay too. Yeah. So, any schedule thing you want to mention?
Yeah. Okay. So today at 6 p.m. Eastern, Jason Doobie joins the Indie Comics Network. He's going to be bringing his draw stream for an hour. We might have some technical difficulties. I don't know. We're going to play around. He's learning StreamYard and I'm learning Studio. So we'll just see how that goes. And also Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, join C. Michael Lanning and Chad Perkins for their show, Really Random Ramblings or something like that. It's nothing to do with comics, and we don't care. It could be if they want. Sometimes it could be. Sometimes it will be. Just when it comes up naturally in conversation. Yeah. And also Wednesday night, join us for our first Indie Comics Network movie night at. Oh,
that's going to be.
I don't even remember what time it was. I think it was 10 p.m. Eastern.
Right.
We'll have Lori Calcatari and Carissa. Oh God, what is Carissa's last name? Grant. Yeah. Carissa Grant will be joining us, and so we're going to watch the fantastic.
Yeah. So make sure you all check that out, because we have been debating the copyright issue of that episode for a couple of days now.
I think I've got it figured out.
Sure. Yes, and we're not sure if that episode is going to be able to remain up after
8 p.m. Eastern Wednesday.
Oh, there you go.
All right.
Because you will be watching what movie?
The Fantastic Four.
Yeah. So make sure you tune in at 8 p.m. Because that
might watch us get cut off live.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're being daredevils. We're being daredevils on Thursday.
We have plans.
Yeah, we have plans. So if you want to learn more about me and my artwork and all the other stuff that I do, including all my upcoming campaigns, you can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites, but I mostly post to Facebook if you are interested in seeing sketches and current work in progress updates. And remember to check me out on YouTube for 500 plus videos of how I make my comics and artwork, and my semi-weekly art live stream Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. I will be holding another one this coming Wednesday. It's 4 to 6 of me just drawing whatever I need to draw. Mostly it's going to be probably sketch covers on this episode. And whatever you guys want to talk about in the chat, let's go for it. It's kind of like being at a convention without the crowds and without the expensive convention food. So it'll be a fun time. And remember, you can also read Ego Raven, Air the First Unicorn, for free, uploading every day, Monday through Friday. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a furry Lord of the Rings adventure, you can follow the link over to Tall Tales. That's TAILSonline.com. And not only can you read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free, you can catch up on the latest story arc, Tears of the Mother, which is also currently uploading Monday through Friday. And remember that the campaign for the series launching next Monday. It'll be issues 1 through 5. That's the reissue of issues 1 through 5, plus the brand new issue 6 of this 8-issue limited series. So the link is in the show notes to sign up so that you can get notified when the campaign goes live, or just join us on Mondays. Yes. And join us on Monday, where we will launch the campaign live, talk a little bit more about it, and then, see what else happens. So thank you again for joining us. And in the words of the ancients, eat your food, moisturize, mind your business, and do the work. Because when you actually do the work, you never have to fake any of your accomplishments. Thank you so much again. Remember to show gratitude for what we're all, just for being awake today to do what we do. Just remember to show gratitude, and we'll see you next time.
Oh my God, I lost it.
No.
Yes, I did. Oh, there it is.